So at church tonight we were talking about different dreams people were having, and getting woken up in the middle of the night. So I wanted to share a dream that I have had about running and not growing weary. It was strange because I ran really, really fast, and all the animals around me that I saw just randomly, like you would if you were like walking through like a forest, were approachable, and noticed that I was there. And as I was running, I just was like the wind, very, very fast. And the different places that I ran to were kind of perpetually different in different seasons. Like if I was in a very green place with like, evergreens and carnivorous trees, it was snowing, and then if I was in a place where there was, kind of like yellow, orange, red trees, it was fall, and it had the feeling of fall and the smells of fall. And it just ran through all these different types of terrain, and I can't tell you how long I was running, but it was a long time, and that's not a thing for me. When I was younger, I used to run, but I don't do it anymore. I stopped and I looked down, and there was this little chubby hamster just kind of chilling in like a log, and it looked up and noticed me, and that was the end of the dream. And it looked a lot like the hamster that we have. We have this hamster named Sammy. We have two, and it was very cute, very chubby, and it reminded me a lot of me, and I liked it. So that was my dream. It gave me like happiness. It made me very, I guess you could say, made my spirit like joyful. It gave me nostalgia. It was like, it felt like a feeling of euphoria. It felt like, I don't know, it felt good. And then I want to talk about being woken up in the middle of the night. And the reason why I'm woken up in the middle of the night, I don't know about other people, sometimes it's spiritual warfare reasons, like God wants me to pray. So it's because somebody somewhere's going through something, like for my daughter, it actually happened in real time where she was going through something. I was woken up and I didn't know why, and then all of a sudden spiritually I was told, it's just Victoria's name came up. And then I went and called, texted her, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm up. It was like 3 a.m, and I said, I just feel uneasy or unsettled, because she was at my family member's house, and I said, I'm worried. And she's like, yeah, I had a bad dream, and just kind of shocking for us, but sometimes it's for real reasons. God will actually tell you why. Before like last week when it happened to me, it was for me. And it was like God can't really breach my mind sometimes. I think I have a guard up spiritually or emotionally when I am awake, but when I'm in between sleep, he can really get in and just be like, sometimes it just feels like a supernatural hug, and sometimes it's necessary. And I didn't realize I needed it until I feel it. And again, sometimes, when I have those feelings like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and like I did that last week, of being spiritually hugged, it really reminded me of how casual Jesus is. He's like casual king. I know when he comes in, he'll come in, like a roaring lion, with trumpets, and really it's going to be very noticeable. But he's just so casual. He was one of us at one time. He was a brother. He was a son, and he had to face death with the, of course, potential to rise. And man, it just sometimes during those times I just feel when I can't comprehend in my brain, my spirit totally embraces and understands and is embraced by, and it's a good feeling. And I pray that others feel it too, or have felt it in the past. Because sometimes it's just I think it's emotional hygiene type of issue where you need to be, I guess, relieve a certain type of stress emotionally. I also want to talk about the chess game of things that are happening right now. So this is not a political conversation, but it might appear so, but it's not. Okay, so after reading this book, Nothing to Envy, there's this, it's called Nothing to Envy, The Ordinary Life of a North Korean. It's several different stories about these people who live in North Korea, who different things that they encountered and how life was there. and basically how the propaganda worked. And like, for example, they're told, and they don't know until they leave, that other countries are starving worse than they are. And you either believe it as a North Korean or you don't. So, and if anything, they teach you to be grateful that you're eating anything. So there's that. And then for one of these real life people who are named something different, of course, for their privacy, she was a teacher, and she got sick of seeing her students starve to death. And she just decided to leave. You know, she decided this wasn't for her. And my thing is like this: do you need to be told something's a beast? And I think that's kind of where the Christians are at right now. At least that's where I'm at. I'm stepping back. I'm looking at this chessboard. I know that, you know, just like when you see openers, like, you know, the Knights opener, you just know how things are going to start to play out from go. Somebody's hiding the ball, you know, and I just know it. I know we're the butt of the joke. I know somebody's hiding the ball. I know, and when I say we, I mean people in general on both sides of the spectrum, because there's something bigger in the background that's not coming to the forward. And I think it really has a lot to do with this Messiah figure that a certain country is proclaiming does exist and will come to the world, like knowing that this person is the Messiah. I guess this Messiah figure is alive. I read an article about it last year around Passover, and I thought it was strange because it happened around Passover. But they said this person's alive, and they're going to reveal who the Messiah is soon. And now this year, just a few days ago, it came out that this top commander did an interview, who was part of this military, you know, very respected dude, in his 80s, about to go through serious surgery, decided to just start venting and sharing his truth about aliens. Now, how much of that truth he had true access to, what kind of spinning was done for, you know, to him by the governments and so forth, I have no idea. But I mean, if there's an alien presence, it's demonic. It's not aliens, it's demonic. And then, you know, spiritually, just a few videos ago, I was doing a video on the biblical formula, and I was going to come out with it during that video, but I decided not to because it's aliens, and I don't want to talk about aliens. But this guy bothered me to the point where it's like, okay, so you're telling me last year a Messiah-like figure is coming to the forward. Who would be bigger than Jesus? I mean, that could fit the characteristics of what's in the Old Testament. Dude, it'd have to be an alien entity. And how do I know? Because of the book of Ezekiel. The first chapter of the book of Ezekiel, I was going to say it in that Bible video and that Bible formula video. I was like, oh yeah, here's a classic UFO chapter, but of course the History Channel is selling it as so, but it's not so. Ezekiel didn't. I know Ezekiel was in exile, but I think that's symbolic of something else. I think this is symbolic of something that's going to come to pass in the future. About Ezekiel's representing something. I can't put my finger on it, but because he's in exile, when this is happening, when he has this encounter that seems kind of UFO-like, what we describe as a UFO, which is an encounter with God, for sure. I don't think Ezekiel lied. I don't think God would want to pass this on as a lie. We know who he is through the Holy Spirit. I think what's going to happen is the enemy is going to appear as he has through Ishtar. I want to show you a picture of Ishtar. Hold on. Here's a picture of Ishtar. And I thought it was weird that it came out around Passover too, because as you know, with Passover, that's well, it's around Easter, of course, and Easter is the original Ishtar, goddess of night worship stuff, because, you know, the reason why we have the rabbits and the eggs is a fertility goddess issue. You know, we say, why we eat little, you know, chocolate bunnies and chocolate eggs, we don't know. But it's an Ishtar tradition to dip eggs in the blood of children and stuff like this. So it's evil stuff. I'm only talking about it so much, but if Ishtar were to be some alien-like figure who wanted us to somehow worship her or it, we wouldn't miss a beat, because we already still do it during Easter. So we just kind of keep the same traditions and just kind of not call it Easter anymore, or call it Ishtar, or whatever it was originally called. So anyway, here she is, and if you read the book of Ezekiel, it's similar. In there's a winged beast, there's some winged people, there's a lion's head, there's, I think, an eagle instead of owls. There's straight legs, there's so many wings. There's the legs of, I think, feet that are hands, legs that are like calf. Anyway, you could literally, and they're sitting on some type of platform that has a bunch of circles or eyes on it. So that's what I'm saying, like, this is an old Babylonian goddess of some sort. So the fact that Ezekiel's talking about how the Spirit of God leaves the temple to go and be in Babylon describes the actual departure of God's Spirit presence from the temple, and the presence does not return to the temple until Jesus walks through the gates. He watches God breathe fantastic way. He talks of the living creatures. So he sees it leave the temple, and I think, I know there's some type of math that can be done here, and there's some type of connection that can be made here. But I think what's going to happen is these people, and this is, I'm thinking out loud, these people are going to try to claim that this entity is God or Messiah because of the miraculous, strange things that it does. And of course, God lets it happen because God is in full control. And they're going to point to the book of Ezekiel to prove that this is them visiting us at an earlier time, and now they're back because they think we're ready. This is my ideas, okay? And now you can think it's crazy, whatever, but I just have a funny feeling that we're kind of like the frogs in the boiling water. I don't really personally spiritually feel, I don't know if I can get confirmation from other Christians. I don't think Marcus Rogers or anybody else has said anything like this, but I don't think the temperature for us is going to change. Like for me, for example, temperature hasn't changed spiritually. I've been saying this in videos for the last 3 years. Whatever people have been feeling in like real life, I'm in spiritually there for 3 solid years. Like, that's why I started making the videos this year finally, because I was like, I can't like live just with this in here. It has to actually come out because it feels like an overflow. And then but I just feel like things are gonna just get more and more ramped up and worse, and people are going to cry out for wanting peace in whatever form that comes in. And whether it's looking up to the stars and us as humanity coming together, and the fact that this general came out and said this stuff, this is what I'm telling you, this is a chess game. Somebody's hiding the ball from us. It's really weird. It reminds me of the movie Signs, when the aliens are like knocking on the door and they're randomly just kind of making noise, and one dude figures out the way they're making this noise, the fact they're not trying to put pressure on the door, is a sign that they're doing it to distract us. And that's how I feel spiritually. I feel like somebody's distracting us. Like, this whole political thing is an act, it's a stage, and I think they've already given over whatever power or control they think they have to whatever's in the background. This is how I'm feeling. I don't know why, but this is just spiritually how I've felt for the last few months. But again, I don't really think, for me, because I've been pulled back away from the politic part of it, it's like, you can't let these political things create a rift, because you need these people to hear you out when this Mark of the Beast stuff comes out, and when, like this month is a strange month. We have the Christmas star, that's 800-year event, and then you also have the meteor showers. You also have the triangle between all the planets. You also have this month the northern lights and strange atmospheres, and we also have the eclipse. So this is a weird month just in any way, and things have been so strange up until now. Why would we expect anything else to go as planned? This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking around and going, why would we, how somebody kind of like tricks you and tricks you and tricks you, and you go, okay, well, I'm not going to be tricked again. And you get tricked again. It's like, November didn't go like planned. There's nothing happening this year that's going as planned. I don't know why a special New Year's marker that is invisible to anything else, an animal wouldn't know it's New Year's. It's not going to change anything. Like, it's just because it's a new year doesn't mean anything. Like, I know we give it symbolic meaning, but it doesn't really mean anything. If things are already strange, I don't know why this marker would make it less strange, because it's a new year. Yeah, I don't know why we keep putting our hand back in the bucket and expecting not to get, I don't know, bit. That's how it feels. We're like, oh, I hope things get better. Oh, this year's been hard. Oh, nothing's gone right. And why would it not continue to go wrong? I don't know. Well, anyway, I think the only way that you're going to spiritually be carried through whatever's coming and be able to see things as they are and not as the world wants you to see it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. If you step back and you really look at this board, this chess game, and you really get emotionally pulled away from it, and you pull the emotion out of it, you start to realize there's a reason why nothing's going right. They're trying to distract us. What are they distracting us from? Yeah, this is Linda of Christ is King Forever. For the Christians out there, may God be with you.